Let's show you guys a yield farming strategy for you, how you can accumulate Maple at a rapid clip at a fairly low risk way, so that once the bull market comes and you have your price targets and you're ready to sell, you'll have more to sell. All right. So here is my analysis of Maple now, or in the short term. So if you've watched our other videos, you know what our stance on the market is. We feel like there's going to be one more major correction. So I think we'll see Maple come back down to our 200-day moving average, which is where this green line is. And I think we'll consolidate within this range for a few months. So I want to provide liquidity within this range, and I actually am. So before you even go to start providing liquidity, this is what you want to look at. You go to CoinGecko and you scroll down at the bottom, and you can see it gives you the percentages of where most of the trading volume is happening. These are all centralized exchanges, these top ones, but then it says Uniswap v3 and then Balancer. You click on it. I clicked Balancer. It brought me to this, and I typed in Maple, and I only get this pool that shows these 4 assets. I don't know what these are. I don't want to get in this pool. So you have to keep that in mind. Sometimes these things are outdated. So what I like to do is I come to Uniswap, you click top pools, you search Maple, and you can see the top pools. Now, in our mastermind, we teach you to look for pools with high volume to TVL ratios, which means that you want the volume as close to or higher than the TVL as possible. So these are the top 2 pools, Maple ETH and Maple USDC. So these would be 2 pools that I'd be interested in doing. So now that I know what pairs I want to provide liquidity in, I already did my price analysis on this. But I also like to look at ratios. So I couldn't pull up Maple ETH on TradingView, so here I am on Deck Screener. So ratios are important because you want to keep your risk management in mind. Like a lot of times, or most of the time, it's not the importance of just investing. You want to have a structure around your investment, because you can buy a 100x altcoin and not take any profit if you don't have the correct structure around it. So I think ETH is going to 3 to 5x in the next bull market. And I think Maple is going to 100x in the next bull market. So that means I think that Maple is going to outperform ETH. So you can have some of it set aside to where maybe you just have like a standard limit order, because we don't know how fast Maple is going to accelerate, and you don't want to have impermanent loss and put all of your funds into a yield farming pool just to make a high yield. But some of it you can put in and you can pair it with ETH. And you do this because I want to take some profits in ETH, because I know that whenever the market drops, Maple is going to drop way more than ETH. I can guarantee it in this bull market. I can guarantee it. So I'm looking at this range because for the same reason, I think that in the short term, we're going to see a dip in the markets. And I think that Maple is going to dip more than ETH. And it can be an opportunity for us to take our ETH and cycle into Maple as it gets to this level. All right. So now that we know the ranges we want to provide liquidity in, let's look at how much yield we could have made had we provide liquidity within the range of $9.63 at the bottom and $18.55 at the top from the last 60 days in the ETH USDC pool on Uniswap that I just showed you. Go over to Builder Metrics. I made a video on this. I already inputted all the data. I already inputted the price. I put 60 days. And I also made a video on Yielder. So if you want to 3x your fees or 5x, I don't know if they change it, but you can increase your fees up to 5x, but you also have to remember that increases your risk 5x as well. So if you look at this, you could have been getting 21% per month for the past 60 days with a yearly yield of 262% APR. So if you deposited $1,000, you could have made $383 USDC and $616 in Maple.
Just to put that in perspective, man. So if you got 100,000, whatever this total number is, 383 plus 616, that's $900. So an extra $90,000 in 60 days from this strategy with a 100 grand base. So I want to throw that in perspective, just because, of course, with 1,000, it doesn't seem like that much for some reason.
Exactly. And then it gives you like the risk level. It gives you the volume to TVL ratio, which is pretty good here, the volatility, the current TVL. So now that was the Maple USDC pool. How much could you have made in the past 60 days if you paired Maple with ETH in the pool that we showed on Uniswap? And all you have to do is copy and paste these ranges, and you have to make sure it's toggled within the right one.
And the reason, guys, he's monitoring ranges on his technicals right now is because when he starts to provide liquidity, it's concentrated liquidity, and it's going to be within this range. And if it's not, then his funds would be sitting there doing nothing anyway, which he would risk impermanent loss or slippage.
Exactly. And guys, it may be confusing when you go to paste like the numbers on Builder Metrics, but you just want to make sure that you're showing the price in wrapped ETH. You see how you have these few zeros here? If I show the price in USDC, it'll give an actual price and you won't be able to input that into Builder Metrics. So just be sure you click ETH. And then if it's showing backwards, you just hit toggle pair. So had you been in a Maple ETH pool for the past 60 days with $1,000, you could have been getting an APR of 308% or 25% per month with a $1,000 deposit. And guys, this is free money. This is free money. $1,000 deposit, you could have made $491 in ETH and $508 in Maple. Guys, that is absolutely excellent. And this is why we talk about yield farming being the best opportunity to generate passive income in the history of mankind. As long as you know what you're doing, and here at Know It Owls, we make sure you know what you're doing, guys. So if you like this kind of content, I'm telling you guys to tap in.
This is 2 months, by the way. I just always, perspective is important, man. 2 months from now, guys, an extra $900 will do most people pretty good.
Let's say you have an extra $900 or whatever, and now you get 100x on $900. That's way more money, guys. Like, you got to think about it with your take profit strategy, like mixing yield farming and trading. It's just yield farming just offers you another tool on your tool belt that you wouldn't have without it. Like, you've never been able to do something like this.
One thing I would add real quick, you said passive. I agree with you, but I will always be a stickler when people say passive, because at the end of the day, guys, it requires still a lot of work. It requires
active management.
Right, 100%. So passive in the term that it's not a job, but at the same time, and it's usually an extra source of income for most people. But yes, this stuff requires work at the end of the day. I always feel some type of way about passive, but I am also agreeing with you that this is one of the best passive, I'm using air quotes, income opportunities out there right now in any type of market, whether it's a bear or bull market or a consolidated market.
Absolutely.
A consolidated market would be the best, because consolidation, you get in small ranges of volatility and they become predictable over, a week span of time or so. And you can make some pretty great trades happen within that time.
Yeah, there are good yield farming strategies for bull markets, bear markets, and crab markets, which are sideways markets. And we teach you how to do all of them.